Okay. I'm glad today to welcome you to the South Carolina Public Charter School District Board meeting for February 12th, 2026, and we are now called into order. I will call on Board Member Kip Miller to offer our invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. Lord, we also thank you that we have an opportunity to serve and to serve other people. And Lord, I pray that we'll do so with excellence. I thank you for this board, this leadership, our staff, and I just thank you for the culture that exists here amongst us all. And Lord, I pray that we will also have a culture of wisdom, that you'll give us discernment as we discuss things, not only today, but throughout the year. And Lord, you'll just help us and lead us in making decisions that are best for those we serve. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. And Dexter Davis will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody stand, please. Those that can. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, Board Member Craig Plank will read for us our position and mission statements.
Our position statement. The South Carolina Public Charter School District embraces its state-appointed role as the distinct authorizer of public charter schools statewide. And our mission. The South Carolina Public Charter School District authorizes, supports, and champions innovative K-12 public charter schools, ensuring quality education opportunities for parents and academic excellence for students so every South Carolina child can reach his or her highest potential.
Thank you. We now move into the consent agenda. We need a motion and a second to approve the agenda for today's meeting, February 12th, 2026.
Madam Chair, should we do the roll call?
I'm sorry. Right, Everett's right. Yes, we should, especially since you are the
I only get to talk
secretary.
a few times.
You're
so
exactly
I
right.
need to take advantage.
Yeah, apologies for that. It was tucked under here. Thank you.
Jonathan Butcher is present. Dexter Davis.
Present.
Stephen Gilchrist. Kip Miller.
Present.
Cindy Mostetler.
Present.
Craig Plank.
Present.
Dr. Teresa Pope.
Present.
Dr. Billy Strickland.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. We now move on to the consent agenda. We need a motion and a second to approve the agenda for today's February 12th, 2026 board meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Have a motion. Good. Thank you. Motion carries. Next, under the consent agenda, approval of the minutes for the January 8th, 2026 meeting. We need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our January 8th board meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Okay, thank you. Excuse me? Yeah, right. I will now move on to the information items with Emily Paul, employee retirement.
I would like to invite Nikki Templar to come on up. Nikki, welcome back. Today, we are gathered to celebrate a very special graduation from the world of finance. After about 3 years of keeping our ledgers balanced and our department running smoothly, and 32 years of service to the state, Nikki hung up her calculator to pursue her true passion, catering and event planning. Nikki, your dedication to the district has been a gift, but we've always known your heart belongs to the art of the event. We're so excited to watch you trade spreadsheets for menus and budgets for celebrations. Thank you for your hard work, your infectious energy, and for showing us all what it looks like to chase a dream. We expect an invite to the first big gala you plan. Congratulations on your journey.
Thank you.
You want to get a photo, Chi-Chi? Yeah, let's go ahead and do a photo. Nikki, it's good to see you again. You retired at the holiday, and some of us were already on break, and so I didn't get a chance in person to just thank you for your commitment to putting kids first. Nikki has been a part of the transformation here at the district in terms of our budgeting and finance. We have the finest finance team in the state, and the work that they have done as a team, because they are a strong team, has resulted in a school district that has zero debt, a school district that has no findings on audits, a school district that has state assets that have grown in value, both a building but also investments, and a district that the finance team and the program team, when they married several years ago, y'all know what I'm talking about, when they had the wedding, you're now doing weddings, yeah, have produced some of the greatest results in public education in South Carolina. And Nikki, you were an integral part of all of that. And so you should be proud of the work that you performed as a member of this team. You should be proud of your service to the state of South Carolina. And I would just say that I don't think there's a greater legacy for any of us than doing work for the Lord's kids. And we just want to thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and for really representing the culture and the values of the public charter school district. Congratulations.
And I want to say first that I've never seen anybody retire that looks like you. The other thing I want to say is, you've been a numbers person, and yet the creativity you have for the next episode in your life. I mean, most people think, well, they hope they got the half brain, but you got the whole brain, so you can handle all those things, and it's just a wonderful gift. Also, I wanted to compliment you on the names of your children, Bree, right, and Ashley, yeah, beautiful names, and you just have a beautiful demeanor and talented in the left and the right. So, congratulations on your future. Thank you for being with us.
We still do cater lunches for board meetings.
Yeah, come have your retreat at my place.
Okay.
Oh, that's neat.
Board?
Yeah.
She's giving us an invitation to have
Yeah.
our board retreat with them.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
great.
All right, we'll do it. All right, I like that. All right, let's give her another round of
Very special.
applause. Don't forget those beautiful flowers. That was from the finance team. That was her buddies.
All right, next we are going to do some employee anniversaries. So I'd like to call up Carla Dowie and Kristen Farmer.
Let's give them a round of applause.
We are recognizing 5 years of service to the district. 5 years ago, in the heart of the pandemic, we had 2 people take a chance on us during times of uncertainty. We haven't been the same since Kristen and Carla walked through the door. Kristen, Carla, thank you for your hard work, dedication, and commitment to the district and putting kids first. Happy 5-year work anniversary. We appreciate you both.
Carla and Kristen, thank you so much. Congratulations on your 5-year anniversary.
You two every day make just such a big difference, not only in the work that you do, but in your contributions in the culture that we've built here at the Public Charter School District. It's a pleasure to work with both of you, and I'm expecting to see you for another 5 years. Yeah, congratulations.
And yeah, you have been such a big part of making this culture. And this culture is relatively new, because really our work is really relatively new. What we would say, this group has been together 6 years. Yes, and look at the statement that's gone far and wide across the state. And I also want to say, I think that we have some of the best looking ladies, I have to say that, in a group like this. I mean, don't you sometimes think what a school person worker looks like? Not them, not any of y'all. See, you've got great hair going on. Believe me, I know this kind of stuff. So it adds to personality, and it brings a certain brightness to every day with the work that y'all do. God's given you personalities commensurate with your talent, so we thank you so much for that. And I'd like to know how you get your hair to look like that. You got that secret too.
That concludes our informational items.
Moving on to item number 9, we do have a need for executive session pertinent to the Limestone Charters update. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
us.
Are we ready? Thanks for that.
They're on-
Yeah, all right, let's go.
Okay, good. Thank you. We have now just returned from executive session. No votes were taken, and we need a motion to come back into general session.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we will move on to action items. Our first action item is on the Seeds of Abraham Collegiate Academy application. Kristen Farmer.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Please turn to action item A. Seeds of Abraham Collegiate School of Performing Arts submitted a charter application to the PCSD on January 30th, 2026, proposing to serve students in grades 6 through 12 in Seabrook. On February 1st, 2026, the committee chair formally requested to withdraw the application. The applicant indicated that, after further consideration, the founding group has decided to pursue the establishment of a private, faith-based school rather than a public charter school, and therefore wishes to withdraw from the 2026 charter application cycle. Staff respectfully requests a motion to accept the voluntary withdrawal of the Seeds of Abraham Collegiate School of Performing Arts charter application. Thank you.
Thank you. So we need a motion and a second to accept the withdrawal of the application of the Seeds of Abraham Collegiate School of Performing Arts as recommended by staff. Thank you. So moved, second. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there are no questions, we will now put the motion to a vote. All in favor of accepting the withdrawal of the Seeds of Abraham Collegiate School of the Performing Arts indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you. Next, we move on to Spartanburg Preparatory School Goal Amendment.
Please turn to action item B as I read a summary of the amendment. Spartanburg Preparatory School and its governing board request PCSD board approval of its revised charter goals. Located in Spartanburg County, the school serves students in grades 4K through 8. Its mission is to ensure equal access to a supportive school community that promotes high academic excellence through an inquiry-based approach to teaching. The school opened in 2009 and was renewed by the PCSD Board of Trustees in 2019. As of its 45th day, the school served 430 students. Over the past year, school leadership participated in a PCSD Goals Workshop facilitated by Dr. Kelly Pugh to review historical performance data and refine its charter goals. The proposed revisions are intended to strengthen alignment with the school's mission, accountability expectations, and current performance trends. The revised goals focus on measurable student outcomes, including academic growth in English, language arts, and mathematics, measured by NWEA, Measures of Academic Progress, or MAP. In addition, the goals emphasize strengthened teacher implementation of inquiry-based instructional strategies and enhanced student and staff persistence, as reflected in improved retention rates. Baseline data and annual targets were established using multiple years of historical data, with projections extending through the 28-29 school year. The revised goals and associated strategies are included in their entirety in Attachment 1. These revised goals provide a clear framework for measuring student achievement, instructional effectiveness, and organizational stability, supporting continuous improvement. Staff respectfully requests a motion to approve the goals amendment for Spartanburg Preparatory School. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion and a second to approve the goals amendment for Spartanburg Preparatory School as recommended by staff.
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
And Dr. Whitmire, the Executive Director, and Ms. Holmes, Principal, are here today to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Yes, any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are these numbers going up or down from what they were?
They are going up.
Thanks. Do you know what was, say for the first one, what was it before?
For the first one, our current baseline is 49. So we looked at our historical data and kind of where we have been, and then decided to go up each year.
Was there a goal to move above 49 prior to now? And what was that number? So you're moving to 61.
I understand.
What was it before?
Yeah, I believe our previous goal was 52.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have a question, or kind of a comment. I remember that, I was at that event with Kelly Pugh, and it was very substantive. And so can you just tell us a little bit about this? This seems to be like a seed that began your thinking on this, or readiness to move to the next step. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Through conversations with the district, we recognized that our goals had not been updated since the charter school began back in 2009. So of course, our goals were very outdated. They didn't align with our current strategies. So through that work with Dr. Pugh, that definitely, planted that seed, as you said, just to make sure that we have that clarity and accountability for our school.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Any other questions? We ready for a vote? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of approval of this recommendation by staff? Indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board.
Good morning.
At the end of December, we expect 50% of the general fund budget to remain. We are currently at 48.26%. I'd like you all to write that number down, please. 48.26%. My report will show the district is bringing in more revenue than forecasted and is operating at a net gain for the year. The January report will also show a net increase for the month and for the year. Flipping over to page 2, this is the district-wide income statement, which includes general fund, state aid to classrooms, revenue transferred to our schools. Through December 31st, the district received over $111.4 million in revenue, with total expenditures of over $111.3 million, which equals a net gain of over $51,000. Of the revenue received, over $108.4 million was sent to our schools under the state aid to classrooms line and for any that participate in the South Carolina retirement system. If you flip over to page 3, this report is the income statement for the district office only, which includes only general fund revenue recorded for our state mandated 2% authorizing fee, donations, interest revenue, and any other local sources. For the month of December, the district recorded over $503,000 in revenue, over $494,000 in expenditures, for a net increase of over $9,000 for the month. This increases our beginning fund balance from $3,462,766 to $3,514,626, which is a net gain of the year of $51,000. The January financial report will also show a net increase for the month, resulting in an increase in our fund balance. If you flip over to page 4, this report breaks down the district's budget and expenditures by department. Leadership has a budget of over $1.6 million, expenditures of over $859,000, with 49% remaining. Sponsor Performance has a budget of over $1.1 million, expenditures of over $640,000, with 46% remaining. Support and Implementation has a budget of over $1.1 million, expenditures of over $675,000, with 45% remaining. External Affairs has a budget of over $615,000, expenditures of over $312,000, with 49% remaining. And lastly, Financial Services and HR has a budget of over $914,000, expenditures of over $423,000, with 54% remaining. Flipping over to page 5 of my report, this is generated monthly by the State Department, and it includes all state funding calculated for the district. If you look at the bottom of that sheet, of the $267.9 million in total allocation, $262 million is under the state aid to classrooms line, which is approximately 97.78%. And flipping over to the last page of my report, this is something new that I'm going to be reporting monthly. This report displays the budget versus actual revenue received for the year. Through the end of December, the district budgeted $2,796,850, with actual revenue of $2,946,293, which is a net increase of $149,443, or approximately 5.34%. Going back to that number that I asked you to write down at the beginning of my presentation of 48.26% of the budget remaining, if you take away the 50% of where we should be, that's a difference of 1.74% of a deficit, which we actually have a net increase in revenue of 5.34%. So we are actually in a surplus of 3.6% through the end of December. With that said, I will be presenting a budget amendment sometime here in the spring to reflect those actual revenue numbers that we're bringing in. Madam Chair, this concludes my December financial report, and I respectfully request board approval pending any questions.
Thank you.
I do have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
How are the contributions and donations obtained, Nick? Is there a link, or where's?
Yeah, the contributions and donations, we currently have none to date.
No, I saw where there was $2,000.
That was from last year.
Last year. Well, my question is, how are they obtained? How do we get-
Typically, those are coming from local sources for donations. Like sometimes we receive like a donation from T-Mobile, things of that nature.
How do we promote that?
We really don't promote. It's just people that just donate to the district.
Okay, so they just send a check, or they don't,
Yes.
is there a link to donate it?
We used to have a link on our webpage for donations, but I don't believe that's active right now.
Okay, is it 501c3, or is it just a link
True.
to get money?
Trustee Davis, I would just, I can address that. We do not solicit donations. We feel like we have adequate funding from the state, and I think there's been a lot in the news about donations in charter schools, and this charter school district does not solicit or accept donations. Now, we make donations.
Yeah.
And we support, different organizations that are in the education sphere, but we do not solicit donations. We stay out of that business and don't negotiate those kind of things with vendors or anybody else.
Thank you.
We do get free lunch here, though, as board members, so that's a big perk. Okay. Okay, so,
Motion to
Motion
approve
to
the
approve,
financial
yes.
report.
yes, thank you. All in favor indicate by
Oh, we
saying
need
aye.
a second.
Second.
Excuse me. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Chair, trustees, I'm going to give you a brief update from sponsor performance. The first thing I would like to share with you is as we are repositioning ourselves, welcoming aboard the transferring schools, we are adjusting some staff, and so I'm very pleased to share that Bridget Cunha, who's been on our staff for a number of years, has been promoted to the level of director. She is now our Director of Charter Development. Ms. Cunha has done an amazing job of putting together so many resources and really working with Ms. Farmer, elevating our authorization work to new standards. In fact, we were on a conference call just a month or so ago, and where there was a national actor on that and who commented about us to say this is the best practice in authorizing. So we're excited to have her in that position. We also welcomed aboard Dana Abbott. Dana has joined us as our Director of Charter Performance, and so we're excited to have her join Kristen's team too, and we certainly are glad to have Dana with us. You know, Dana has a broad background, including having served at this district previously, and will be working with Kristen again and Bridget in our authorization work, school safety plans, facilities, all those parts and pieces. Last but least of all, we have, we mentioned last time, Dr. Mills joined our team as our Chief Charter Operations Officer, so he and I will be working hand in hand as we work with our transferring schools, and he will also be providing direct technical assistance to our AEC high schools just to make sure that we are maximizing what we can do in supporting those specific and unique population of children. So we're excited on this. In terms of some authorization updates, as we shared back in the fall, we received 32 letters of intent back in November. The applications, charter applications, were due this year by 5 p.m. on January the 30th. We received 12 applications for the 2026 cycle. Of those 12 applications, 8 of those groups did attend our November 2025 pre-applicant training. And we have now completed our completeness checks, making sure that the applicants have all the information as necessary. And now we have moved to viability screeners, just to ensure top line that it is a healthy and robust application. Those that pass the viability screener, as before, will continue on and proceed on to a full review of an in-depth review of that application, followed by capacity interviews with that founding committee, and then that will culminate our work to bring recommendations before you, which we anticipate having recommendations at both your March board meeting as well as your April board meeting. Again, in terms of some of the Limestone Charter Association schools, we have completed our updates to our transfer protocol and action plans. We have a virtual meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, February 17th from 3 to 4 p.m. To engage with them again and just kind of outline sort of the steps that we're anticipating to take. Our intent, our focus, and our mission is to make this as streamlined, efficient, and smooth as possible while making sure that we are robust in the work that we have to do. Last, we have some data and accountability and IT updates. So we once again successfully submitted all our annual reports to the South Carolina Department of Education. As you know, schools must submit annual reports to us by December 31st. They did. We've confirmed and checked those, and now those have been submitted. We're already in the works of our spring accountability work as that is gearing up. One of the things we are continuing to do, too, is we are continuing to digitize records, particularly student records from closed schools, so that we have those for document preservation as well. And we are continuing to provide ongoing support to schools related to data and accountability. In fact, I'm excited that we'll be joining Dr. Whitmire and her team to dive into some data here in the next month or so. So we're excited about that. Madam Chair, that concludes my update, pending any questions from you.
Thank you. Any questions?
So do you know how many applications we'll be reviewing this year?
Will
it be 12? Will it be 12?
Right, so right now we're in the process of reviewing well, we had the 12, the one with Drew's.
So that's now 11.
So we're now to 11, and we're in the process of going through the viability screener. Those that make it through will go to full review, and those that don't, we will likely bring those to you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, now we will go to Emily Baker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, sticking with 3 updates for you this month, I would like to share that we have been busy. Our office has been busy and our team's meetings with schools have been busy. Since the last time that we have met, we have been working to prepare schools for them to administer their spring assessments. We've been sharing best practices and implementation of state and federal requirements, as well as hosting external stakeholders for support and collaboration. So to give you kind of a peek into some of those highlights, on January the 7th, Chi-Chi hosted an Access for ELS virtual training to ensure our schools were prepared for the ML Spring Assessment. On February 6th, Diana and Rihanna hosted school testing coordinators in the office to prepare them for the GT Performance Task Assessment. Rihanna, Susan, Josh, Tina, and many more hosted a full house on January 30th to discuss the many sides of the student outcome reporting. As also on January the 30th, Tracy hosted our portfolio of schools for a technical assistance session on school improvement designations that she led in collaboration with the South Carolina Department of Education. On January 21st, Lori and her team hosted the department in our office where they facilitated a training on the upcoming SEED document. So things are not slowing down. February is proving to keep the momentum that we have had going the past month. School resource officers, or SROs. I would like to share a couple updates with you for SROs. This is the busy SRO time of the year. By way of update, for this school year, we have 30 SROs present in a total of 28 schools. We do have a couple of schools that have more than one officer because they have more than one campus. 25 of those 28 schools are state-funded through the South Carolina Department of Public Service. The busy time right now is it's time for our schools and districts across the state to submit formal requests via an Appendix A document for the SRO request for the 26-27 school year. Superintendent Neely signs off on each Appendix A for our portfolio. These documents were due to each law enforcement agency and South Carolina DPS by January the 23rd. We met that deadline and we submitted a total of 32 Appendix A's for a total request of 59 SROs for next school year. So we have requested an SRO for every school, including our limestone transfer schools. And the reason for the 32 LEAs, those law enforcement agencies, some of those law enforcement agencies cover multiple schools under their jurisdiction. The second step in that process is that now those law enforcement agencies will submit their application to DPS for the funding for their SROs for the next school year, and those are due to DPS by February the 20th. Okay, the final step in the SRO process is that DPS will provide award letters to districts and schools, and those came out last year, August the 20th. I'm hopeful that those may come out earlier this year because, as you know, schools are starting before August the 20th, but as soon as those come out, we give those out to the schools and those SROs start immediately. One highlight to share with you is for the very first time, we have requested a district SRO to be full-time in our office. As you know, we have a good working relationship with Richland County, and when you're here, we typically have a deputy with us, but we have requested for the first time to have a full-time SRO in our office as we continue to grow.
That's great.
And the final update, the South Carolina High School League. Reclassification of school sports classes happen every 2 years. We are currently in the classifications that are effective for the 24 to the 26 school year. The South Carolina High School League is currently preparing districts and schools for reclassification for the school years 2026 through 2028. Reclassification is led by the High School League's Guidelines Committee. Schools are classified every 2 years according to their enrollment and a 3.0 multiplier. The 3.0 multiplier is a weighting each student receives who attends a school from outside the high school league designated attendance zones for that high school. The result is that zoned students count as 1, where the multiplier moves the non-zoned student to 3. As an example, Fox Creek High School has 586 students in grades 9 through 11, which correlates to 1,256 students per the high school league regulation with that multiplier. They use the count for 9 through 11th grade students because those 12th graders, by the time that classification comes into effect, they have now left that building. So the spreadsheet on the screen shows you which of our schools, our current schools and our future LCA schools, what their current class is, and what their reclassification is for the 26 to 28 school year. These updates were published to districts on December the 19th. Every 2 years when the high school league reclassifies schools, they allow schools and districts to formally appeal the new placements. A school wishing to appeal had to submit their request by January the 7th. We had 7 schools appeal. Of those 7 appeals, 2 were declined and 5 were reclassified based on their request. And Madam Chair, that concludes my report, pending any questions.
Any questions?
Just a statement, Madam Chair. Just knowing Fox Creek High School, as we talk about sports, they're not a 4A classification. That's unfair to them. They're more of a 3A in competition, so it's sad to see that they forced them up.
Yes, Josh Trahan did appeal. His appeal was declined. Having spoken to him about that process, he respects the process because he has also lived on the high school league side. His concern is his students in football, particularly that are classing up. He's worried about their safety.
Understandably so.
Wow. That's a big, yeah.
Thank you.
And where would that request go from there? I mean, is there another way to?
So once his appeal was,
point.
the appeal is multiple layers. So if his first request was declined, he goes to an additional hearing. So it's technically declined twice. Some of ours were declined in that first level and then approved in the second level. And so he will live in that classification for the 26 to 28 school year and then work to make advocacy changes for the 29 through 31 school year, which is crazy to think about.
Crazy, yeah. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Great question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to Brad Henry. He knows everything going on out there, isn't that right?
No, Madam Chair, I do not. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board.
Morning.
First off, with all the winter storms that have taken place the last couple of weeks, a lot of our schools had to switch to e-learning and also close altogether. I wanted to share with you a cross-team collaboration. Emily Baker and Brooke Summerford with our staff worked tirelessly to keep the website updated that you can see here, pretty much in real time, so that this was a resource to our families to know what to expect with school schedules and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to make sure, didn't know if you were aware of that as we were working our way through those winter storms across the state the last couple of weeks. Next, as you know, the legislature has been meeting for the past 4 weeks now, and charter schools and school choice have been pretty hot topics. Several bills have been taken up, and I'll give a brief description of the progress of each of these that I have listed here. First, I wanted to call attention to 2 bills that are sponsored by Senator Hemry. During the first week of session, Senator Hemry introduced a charter school funding bill that would give access to local dollars to charter schools. There's a similar model for this in Indiana, and it would provide a totally new revenue stream for our schools, which we feel would be very important. Also on funding, we presented our budget last week to the House Ways and Means Committee, and we remain fully committed to ensuring our schools are fully funded and that all dollars follow the child, no matter what model of school they choose to attend. The big thing that happened this week on Tuesday, Senator Hemry's charter accountability bill passed the Senate. The Senate has worked on this for the past several years. This has been something that Senator Hemry has been very interested in for a long time, and it's finally passed. It passed unanimously 42-0. As its name implies, increased accountability in the form of reining in authorizer shopping, holding schools that underperform accountable, and also holding authorizers and management companies more accountable are major themes of this bill. Our team worked very closely with the Senate over the past year to bring this bill to fruition, and overall we're very pleased with its passing. The House will now be taking it up in short order and will be heavily involved in that process as well. A couple of other bills that I wanted to mention. Many of you will recall the formation of our district's Parent Advisory Council for the families of students with disabilities. We launched this last year. There's a bill working its way through the House right now that would create similar councils for all traditional and charter districts, so we're following that one closely. This is something that we're already doing ourselves, regardless of the legislation, but there is a bill out there that would require districts to do that. One last bill to bring to your attention, another Senator Hemry bill. Senator Hemry is also sponsoring a school board ethics bill that would require the State Board of Education to adopt a model code of ethics. This is a bill we provided input on as well. This is something our district, similar to the Parental Advisory Council bill, this is something our district is already doing. Our district provides annual board training. John S. Payne has really spearheaded that over the last year or so, where we do it in person here at the district, and it's been a great program for us. So this is one we're just kind of keeping an eye on that's working its way through the legislature. Finally, as you know, Madam Chair, our team regularly attends a lot of conferences and special events around the state that support school choice, especially those that our schools themselves also attend. We like to be there to support our schools as much as possible. A few weeks ago, we participated in the SCABSI Winter Conference, who's a very, very important strategic partner of ours, as well as the Palmetto Promise Institute School Choice Fair, which took place in West Columbia. You can see a couple of pictures of those here. Perry's probably going to catch me in the parking lot for putting that picture of him and the owl up there, the inflatable owl. But those are just two events that we've attended recently. Here's a couple of other pictures of our schools at the Palmetto Promise Institute School Choice Fair as well, Whitmore, Green, and East Point. We're always excited to get out there in the community and spread the Kids First message to everyone across the state. Madam Chair, this concludes my report. I'm happy to answer anyone's questions.
Any questions, comments? I was surprised that I was wondering if Perry was going to wear a bow tie out there, but I think he didn't. Is that right? He says fashion flexibility.
Perry has great fashion, so whatever he shows up in, he's gonna look awesome.
Distinguished at all times.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Emily Paul.
All right, my report's going to be a little bit longer than usual today because I have some things to update you on. So update on our annual plan. We developed the professional growth template, and that is meant to have employees look about 5 years forward and just think about what their personal aspirations are, their professional aspirations, and then how can we, as a district office, support them, and as their supervisors, support them in meeting those goals. We, as you saw from Superintendent Neely, just I think yesterday or the day before, he sent out our staffing plan for FY27. That includes some additional staff for the expansion of all the LCA schools coming on board. So we did have 3 January postings. You heard about some of those today, and then 1 promotion. And then we examined our annual plan to make revisions to make sure that we had room to do all of that transfer work. And so I will talk a little bit about that in a minute, but you do have a copy of that revised annual plan in your packets. Next, coming up, we are going to continue to make sure we monitor staff workloads and just make sure that, throughout this change, everybody is feeling really balanced and that we're keeping a close eye on that. And then we're also going to be working really hard to incorporate our new team members as they come on board into our culture, into the Kids First family, make sure that they really fit into our mission, vision, and values. So I'm going to show you some work that we did last week with Stan Davis, or maybe even the week before. One of the things that we really wanted to focus on was how do we make sure as new staff come in that we can really bring them along with our values and really reflect how those values come to life every day for staff. And so we did word clouds as a direction team, and the prompts were, how does the core value, focus, or whichever one it is, come alive for you each day? And so the way that a word cloud works is it's a little online form, and as people are entering their words, the more times a word is entered, that word becomes bigger. And so the next couple slides are the word clouds for each of these core values. And the idea is that when we bring new staff on and we're onboarding them, we can have these visual representations of how our core values come alive for our staff members every day. So the one that is on the screen now is focus. Here is integrity. Opportunity. Excellence. And relationships. And so you can see by those bigger words, the things that really staff coalesced around that we felt like really embody what our core values are day in and day out and how those come to be. So we spent a lot of time working on that, and again, that is going to become part of our onboarding process to just help us really explain what does that look like, what does that feel like when you're in the district. We know how people experience it, but how do we verbalize it? So, like I said, in your packets is the revised annual plan. I want to make sure that I say these are not things that you'll see some things struck through. These are not things that we are not going to work on. They're just going to be worked on next year. There's 4 things that we took out. They were things like surveying community leaders, finding creative ways to help staff understand each other's roles, identifying responsibilities that can be cross-trained, and then really looking at our communication tools. And we felt like it was important to put those things to next year when we have our full staff in place and when we have all those transfer schools here so that we can consider their opinions and their roles as well. And so again, they're not going away. They're just not going to be accomplished this school year. They'll be accomplished next school year. And that's to allow us to do those things with the full staff and the full portfolio, but also give us the space to do that heavy transfer work. And that concludes my report, pending any questions.
Thank you so much.
Comment, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I will say for those of us that have gone over to the Chick-fil-A headquarters, we go to the restaurants and we kind of get amazed by how they serve. But in the headquarters, they have all of these core values, the serve model all over the building. Seek the future, engage and develop others, reinvent continuously, value relationships and results, and then you embody those. So they operate from inside out with the serve model, and they have it plastered all over. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. I can't remember who I was just talking with about that, but we just talked about putting some of that imagery on our walls.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Our wonderful superintendent.
Well, thank you. It's still good morning for 2 more minutes. It's good to be with all of you, Madam Chair, trustees, staff, and visitors. Nikki, congratulations again on your service to our state. We're serving the meal today. Yeah, and then we'll join you later. And then Kristen and Carla, congratulations. I love when we have celebrations and we can honor folks. And today, since Valentine's is in 2 days, I hope you all have your Valentine's something special. I've still got to run out and get something for mine. But don't tell her, of course, this is a public meeting, so she knows. But we have a Valentine's cake. I asked Marlene, I said, do you think we could do one of those really nice birthday cakes, but do one for Valentine's? And so Marlene worked it out. And it's that really good homemade cake from that place that really, it's like Grandma used to cook. I don't know what they put in it, but it's some good stuff. So you can tell I get excited about that kind of stuff. All right, well, let's jump into this. We haven't been able to do a whole lot of school visits, quite frankly, the last few weeks because of the storms. We've had so many schools closed and opening and e-learning and all that. And but also because of the General Assembly, I think our hearing got rescheduled 2 or 3 times. So things just kept shifting. But we're flexible. We're Semper Gumby. And so last week I had the opportunity to, I go to all the SCASA meetings, y'all know that. And but SCASA had its meeting this year at the governor's mansion with Governor McMaster and the First Lady, and had a good chance to talk with the 2 of them. And the governor, he told me, he said, we're just so proud of what you all are doing over at the public charter school district. So we should be proud that our state leaders recognize what we do as a public school district statewide here in South Carolina for children. You all know I sent you an email last week with a link to the hearing, but we had our annual budget presentation at the House Ways and Means Special School Subcommittee, and you'll see me holding up the little charter act that you all have a copy of. And I told them, I said, well, we've got the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the South Carolina Charter Act, so we're all good now. And they loved the fact that we gave them a copy of the Charter Act. And we told them, we said we'd give it all our board members, all our school leaders, and in our trainings. But if Senator Hembree's successful this year with his accountability bill, we'll have to get a new one produced because the Charter Act's going to change. But we can amend that. The other day, I was on the radio with Kevin and Ellen on the Kids First radio show. Ellen and I did a 1-hour show and really gave us a great opportunity to talk about the exponential growth in charters, the wait list that we have of over 6,000 families, and our focus on really trying to continue to advocate for transportation and facility resources from the state. I want to really commend Ellen and the department for standing up with the innovative idea of creating a state infrastructure bank bill of $120 million that would support rural and charter schools in rural South Carolina. And as you'll see in the slides here in a few minutes, we're a majority rural district here at the Public Charter School District. So we want to support more rural families, but it's hard for us to do that when we have an $8,000 difference between a traditional student and a charter student, when we don't get buses. Now, we do get fuel, and again, we want to thank Ellen for that, but the facility piece is huge. You can't have a school without a building. And so we are very appreciative of her advocacy efforts, and I testified and supported that in the House, and I'll do the same thing here in a few months in the Senate. Yesterday, we were up in Spartanburg, over at Meeting Street, Spartanburg. Guys, I got to get every one of you up there to that school. What George Dean Johnson and that community are doing in Spartanburg is truly incredible. Those students are thriving. They have some of the highest reading and math scores in the state. And they also have one of the highest poverty rates of any school in the state. They're proving that all students can learn in the right environment with the right focus and curriculum. And by the way, they co-teach. They got 2 teachers in every classroom. And they pay more per teacher than any other school. Their teachers can earn up to $80,000, $90,000, and they can earn up to $30,000 in bonuses. So they've got teachers that are making 6 figures, but they get the best. And they want to teach at this school because they're able to be unfettered from the rules and regulations and bureaucracy and perform their magic in the classroom. So I was very inspired by what I saw at Meeting Street Academy up in Spartanburg. All right, so this is the presentation that we're giving to the General Assembly, and I thought it would be a good chance to just kind of go through it. I'm not going to go through every slide because some of it you already know, but there are some high points here that I think are important. Of course, there you are, and we're very honored and proud that you're our Board of Trustees. There's the alignment team. The alignment team participates in these meetings with me. So our legislative priorities, which really tried to keep it to the bottom line up front, the bluff, as we say. So our 2026 legislative priorities is, one, we're grateful for the support that we've received. We always want to make sure and acknowledge that the General Assembly is our funder, and we are very appreciative of what they continue to do to support students across South Carolina and to support the choices of families. We're advocating for no reduction in charter school funding. You all know that virtual schools took a hit last year from 0.65 to 0.5 on their weights. I don't know at the end of the day what they're going to do with the formula this year. The information we're getting is very positive that they're going to continue to stay firm and not have any more reductions for charter. I think there's a way to do the formula that is not harmful to traditionals and is not harmful to charters. If we're all about the kids, then we shouldn't be about the system and let the money follow the child. You've heard me talk about relief for transportation and facilities, specifically the infrastructure bank bill of $120 million. I gave them an update on our transfer of the 14 charter association schools, and we're continuing to work through that transfer process with the Department of Education being our lead partner on that one. You heard John talk about the record number of LOIs we received in the fall, and then the 12 applications that we received earlier this month. And then our budget request is for 30,000 plus students. And again, we're not about numbers. This district has never been about being the biggest. We're about having quality. We want the students that we have, the families that choose us, to have the best option for their child's education. Of course, this is our 20th anniversary, and we're very excited. We'll be celebrating later this spring. Just wanted to remind them that we have been around for 20 years now. And of course, this is the 30th anniversary of the Charter Act. You all know our mission, vision, and values. And Emily, I appreciate you going back over what the staff did on the values piece. Here's our 2025-2026 district overview. So right now we're at the 45-day. We're at just over 22,000 students, 45 schools, and 2,500 plus staff and teachers. If you look at the density of where our students are coming from, you'll see that we almost cover every single area of the state. There's still portions of the western part of South Carolina that we need to continue to try to expand to, but for the most part, we've had extensive coverage. Our pupils in poverty are over 55%. You might recall that when in 2020 we were at 47%. I think John is saying that the next update on this, we're probably going to be closer to 60%, John. I think we're at like 58%. And then when you look at our students with disabilities, a little over 18% of our students are students with disabilities. And again, that's a 63% increase since 2020. If you look at the district demographics, the number of students that are in our alternative education campuses are just under 8% of our students. Our virtual students represent less than 10%, so we have a small portion of students that are virtual. Our primary focus has been brick and mortar, in-person school. You see that rural breakdown. 63% of our students come from rural South Carolina. I actually did not know that until John did the research, and that's according to the state's data. We didn't just decide what rural was. It's based on the definition by the state of South Carolina and the economic development figures. And then only 14% of our students are in a school that are tied to an education management organization. Again, very small. You look at our footprint and then combine the 14 schools from Limestone. I know y'all have had some questions about how many schools. It was 14 that you approved. 2 of those are year zero. You can just kind of see the footprint. Now, you saw the earlier map that our students come from all over. Parents travel. They're willing to travel to get their child to a school. But at the end of the day, we still have these clusters of where the schools are actually located. And that is where I think we have the target-rich environment that we need to go to. And you can see it's still many of those rural areas, the corridor of opportunity. But again, there's sections kind of in the western part of the state and the northeastern part of South Carolina along the North Carolina border where we've still got a lot of work to do. But I will say again, I mean, it's hard to open a charter school where there's very few students in the local district. And I don't want to put a school on top of a small school district and try to, hurt that school district, especially in some of these communities that continue to lose students. We got to be very careful and strategic about where we go. Again, you see the historical here since 2020 on our application cycle. The letters of intent, we had that record number this year, but we always receive, a fair share of letters of intent. But at the end of the day, we usually get about half of that in applications. And the bar is high here. Just because you send in an application doesn't mean you're going to be accepted. I think our acceptance rate's lower than Yale and Harvard. So I think the bar should be high. You can't just walk in here and think you're just going to go open a charter school if your application can't prove that you can sustain a quality school and provide a high-quality education. This is just more about cycle to cycle with the other authorizers and the local school districts. Again, we haven't seen a local school district open a charter school now in, I think, 7 years. It's been a while. So it'll be interesting to see if there's some new ones that open here in the next few years. Here's our student enrollment. You can see in 2020, when I became superintendent, we were at just over 15,000 students. And then with the addition of the 14 Limestone Charter Association schools, this August or July, we will be over 30,000 students. So it's a huge responsibility that we've got. We've doubled. We've doubled in 6 years. And, we take our responsibility seriously, and we want to do the best we can for these families. They're trusting their child with us, and so we want to do our part. Graduation rate comparison, you can see that we continue to remain above the state average on graduation rate. We're really proud of that, but still so much work to be done though to ensure our students are ready for college and career and military. And it's one thing to get a diploma, it's another is that student prepared to either enter the workforce or go to our technical colleges or a four-year college or university. So we've still got a lot of work to do there. When you look at the end of course comparison between the public charter school district and the state, we've got areas where we should be proud, and we've got areas where we've still got lots of opportunity for growth. Algebra and math being some of those. I really believe we've got to do better in U.S. history and Constitution. Maybe all of our students need to get a copy of the Charter Act with a copy of the Constitution and Declaration attached to it. Our state overall just does not do well there. And, we need our kids to be civic-minded and understand our country if we're going to defend our democracy going forward. But on English, I'm really proud of the fact that, like the state, we continue to rise in terms of our proficiency in English. SC Ready, again, ELA, we're just slightly above the state average, and both of those have gone up. Math is a problem, but everybody's tackling math now, and really appreciate the intentionality that Superintendent Weaver's putting behind math now, and they've got a new math program and curriculum that they're really promoting. And by the way, Meeting Street, when I was with them yesterday, they were talking about that. And, their students are over 65% proficient in math. I mean, look at the state, 44%. What does it say about one of our charter schools, how well they're performing? And then this was the first year for science. And we got to continue to do better. And we've got a lot of STEM and STEAM schools, so we have high expectations for them to perform. If you look at our subgroup data, appreciate John's work on this. He really dug into it. He loves doing this kind of work. And, when you look at our students with disabilities, I'm going to start from the left and then work down and over to the right. So if you look at our students with disability performance in 24-25, the PCSD outpaced the state at 31.76% to 26.78. If you look at our PIP performance for this year, you can see that we outpaced the state just slightly. And then if you move over to the top and look at the achievement gap, our students with disability have closed the gap down to 38% from 42% last year. And again, we're beating the state. And then if you look at the pupils in poverty at the bottom, Again, our PIP achievement rate has closed down to 20%. When I took over, I think we were around 24%. And the state is at 25%. So there's a gap between the state and us. And my goal is, we're going to continue to see that gap go down, and that we're going to continue to perform and help the students that the Charter Act was really intended for. That was the one goal in the Charter Act, was to close the achievement gap. There it is. We're doing it. You look at the financial data, we always have to provide this to the committees. You saw the 45-day membership numbers. Our WPUs right now is just over 60,000. We're projecting over 83,000 WPUs next year. Guys, I never would have thought 6 years ago that's where we are. But again, we've got to have the staff. You saw the staffing email I sent this week. We're going to have to increase the staff, because we can't decrease the level of support for our schools so that they can continue to support all of these families. The state also requires that we provide a cost savings plan if there were to be state reductions. So a 1% reduction in funding would mean 841 students would not be funded. 2% would mean 1,600 plus students would not be funded. And a 3% cut would mean over 2,500 students would not be funded. Our goal as a state should be to fund all kids. And we should not see any reductions. And, I feel confident that with our economy in South Carolina and with the population growth that we're seeing, the economic development activity that we're seeing across South Carolina, that our state's economy is going to continue to thrive. But we can't control national dynamics. So we always have to be prepared and be conservative in our budgeting in case there is a so-called rainy day. So there's the end of my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions from members of the board.
Questions? Chris, I'd like to say that, and I'm sure everyone we're looking at each other, and we all here where you're sitting, because you're the big part, the shoulders, you are the shoulders that carry everything here. But I think we would all concur, this is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Because not all this has been created not from the top down. You know what I mean? There was no top. And so it's just phenomenal, especially, it's just been a joy to look back and see the path that has been pioneered and blazed through in South Carolina. And I can't thank the staff for the integrity you have. We all think this, the vision you have, the organization you have. And so to see this, that is a huge representation of a lot of hours and thought and years in reality to come to this point. So we just congratulate you and thank you for the heartfelt and mind and your strength of mind and your strength of heart, your strength of care, of vision. We just thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you. And I will just add, though, that just like we talk about our schools having the autonomy at the local level and the local board and the school leader to be able to make decisions and to be innovative and creative for students, quite frankly, it's the Board of Trustees here that gives us the autonomy, and because you trust us, to be innovative and creative, to be able to support schools in a way that is going to be reflected measurably in our data. And so it's a total team effort, really nice. And I think we should all be proud, but I think we should also recognize there's still a lot of work to be done. But that's a good thing. It means we have opportunity and growth, and I'm excited about the future.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, let me find one here. Are we ready for adjournment?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second, thank you. We'll meet in the back. There's lunch.
Yes, and the Valentine's cake.
The cake. We're heading for the cake. Those going fast are heading.
Maybe we start with the cake first.
Right, yeah.